Hello, everyone. Welcome back to VAATV Real Estate Show with Mr. Scott Barlow and Linh. Today, everyone will see Mr. Scott Barlow has a nice green color, a green representing money, isn't it?
Well, that's what we're hoping for.
Okay, so we will. That's the one of the audience was asking, and this is very important based on last time when you discussed about that new law that come into effective
Yes.
for July. Uh, the effect gonna be on the buyer side, so they want to know how can they look for what quality of the realtor that they can look for to find, because once they pick the person, they cannot go with anyone, otherwise they're gonna be liable for the fee paid to whoever that is.
That's an
Right.
excellent question.
Mhm.
And there's a couple of different ways that you can do it. Number one, you can always ask them what their credentials are. One of the things that the National Association of Realtors has is
Mhm.
a whole bunch of different certifications.
Okay.
One of the certifications, and this is one that I earned, probably 10, 12 years ago, was accredited buyer's representative. And it's about a 40-hour course, and it specifically talks about different things that you need to be able to do
Oh,
to properly represent your buyer.
okay.
And the buyer broker agreement, which we talked about, that
Yes.
form, that was part of that whole education process on that. So
Okay.
for me, that's not a foreign idea, is to incorporate that.
Mhm.
But the other thing that you can do is you can look for
Mhm.
online. There's enough different services out there that
Mhm.
will show realtors or agents who have had experience and they've had sales. And it doesn't capture all of them, but it captures a good number of them, and you can see whether or not they represented the buyer or the seller. Frankly, if you looked at mine, you'd see that I represent the seller a great portion
Okay.
of the time.
Yeah.
And then of course the other thing you can do is you can always interview that person,
Mhm.
because if in your conversation you're trying to form a partnership, you two become a team,
Mhm.
and you want to make sure that that's a teammate that's going to get you to what you want, which is to make a good purchase.
Right.
So I think if you do those things, if you look at what their education and experience is, see what types of sales they've had and been involved in, and then lastly, talk to them. Actually get a feel for that person.
Okay. Because there was mentioned that what if that agent took them to see the houses that they don't want. They can never find one, but they found another one that um, that somebody else can show them something better, but they cannot change at that time, right?
You can always get to the point where at least I know from my perspective, this is my own personal policy,
Okay.
is if I have a client
Yeah.
and for some reason we can't work together,
Right. Mm-hmm.
then I'm not going to hold them hostage.
Oh, okay.
Usually what I do is in something like that, I include something along the lines of if I say
Period of time.
if I
right?
say that there's a period of time and you don't like the way that I'm doing or providing services, give me notice, give me 3 days to fix that, or a number of days to fix that. And if I still haven't accomplished that, then we'll part ways. I mean, both mutually.
Yeah, mutual. Oh, I see.
And
okay.
I can honestly say
Okay.
in 18 going on 19 years, I have not had it happen but once,
because
and it was pretty mutual.
Yeah, so I mean, like they concerned since like they only have one shot, like pick one and go with that agent.
Yeah, that's it's not entirely that hard and fast.
Okay.
If you have an agent that you don't like, or you develop issues, personality complex, or something like that with the agent, you can always talk to their broker.
Oh, okay.
The broker the designated broker is the chief officer for that real estate brokerage. He is responsible for the other agents.
Okay.
And in some cases, they have associate brokers underneath him.
Right.
But he's responsible for everyone. He can make a decision to reassign someone.
To reassign. Oh, okay. Like
and if it's such an egregious situation, he can let you out of that
sign
agreement.
exclusive
Yep.
agreement. or the buyer can request for like 3 months to try or whatsoever.
You can.
Yeah.
The thing about contracts is contracts always have a beginning and an end
And
date.
ending. Yeah.
So if you want to do it on 30-day intervals, you could do that. I don't know if you realize it, but there used to be an agent here in town who would advertise that he could sell a house in 28 days or less.
Oh.
And sometimes what they would do is on the listing agreements were 28 days. And so if they didn't sell the house, then they'd come back and do another listing agreement. So each one was 28 days.
Oh.
But there's nothing wrong with having short-term contracts where, if you and the agent aren't getting along, let that contract expire and move on.
Yeah.
If you and the agent are getting along, then extend the contract. It's pretty
That's
easy
true.
to do.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good idea. So I hope that will satisfy the concern from the audience that really is kind of like panicking as for
you're not. If you've got somebody that you just don't feel like you can work with, there's ways to get out of that. And what I would do is I would first off talk to the agent and just go, hey, things aren't working out. You're not showing me the houses that I really want. I don't think you understand my needs. If you don't improve that, then the next step is you can talk to the designated broker at that brokerage and just say, it's not working out with this agent. I want to get released.
Yeah. Okay. So there's way out.
There's always a way.
Way is out.
Yeah. But the last thing you want to do is be in a situation where you've got a broker and maybe you don't like them and you just go, you know what, I like this other guy. I'm just going to go look at a house with him today. And then you make an offer on that house. Well, you still got that contract and you will be on the hook for it. So you want to make sure that you do things right. And if you're having problems with an agent, by all means, go ahead and take the steps, that we kind of outlined here to end it.
So to be clarified, so the contract is that for the one office, everyone, or just one individual?
Just one individual.
Oh, okay. Because you mentioned like if this agent not satisfy them, then they can talk to the broker, and broker can assign somebody else.
The broker may assign another agent, or he may, he'll look for a solution.
He'll look for a solution.
Because
okay.
the last thing that anybody in this business wants to do is make people unhappy.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah. Because so that they don't tie into additional responsibility, liability for the money.
Correct.
For that.
Correct.
Yeah.
Protect yourself. If you need to get out of a contract like that, do it the right way. Like I said, you can do it on a short-term basis. You can tell the agent, hey, you're not meeting my needs. This is not working. Let's cancel this. They may ask for a chance to try to rectify it.
Yeah.
But at least you'll, do things the right way, and you can generally get out of it. Okay. And then, like I said, if you can't satisfy things with the agent one-on-one, then the next step is talk to the broker.
So it's gotta be clear, everything like clear out, right?
Yes.
I mean, like sign out.
The last thing
sign in, sign out. Yeah,
the last thing you want to do is sign on to a contract and then have, you want a 4-bedroom house with 3 bathrooms and no upstairs, and the agent's constantly showing you homes that are 3 bedrooms, 2 baths,
different
and there's 2 stories. So it doesn't meet your needs. And all it does is just lead to frustration for you and for the agent. And I truly believe that those occasions where you don't get along with an agent are going to be few and far between. But if there are occasions, and they do happen, because we've got a lot of agents here in the Valley, and there's a lot of folks looking to buy homes.
Right.
Occasionally you do have times where things aren't working out, but there are ways of handling it so that you get out from under it. And like I said, the last thing you ever want to do is be caught in a position where you're possibly having to pay commission to 2 brokers.
That's true. Okay. So that's will satisfy the question right there. And come back because I see the green right here. So it's about the money. So what is the money we're going to bring to them? What topic you're going to share with them today?
This is one that we had kind of talked about a couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
And it was you. I should say you and I had talked about it a couple of weeks ago.
Right.
And there's another type of real estate out there that a lot of people are not aware of. I think everybody is aware of the internet and what's out there, but there are business models where there is digital or virtual real estate. And so it's kind of a different approach. I had to do a little bit of research to make sure that I fully understood it. But as I went through and I was doing my own research, I realized, I've had occasions where I've already been dealing with this. So what is digital real estate?
Right.
It's the buying, selling, and leasing of virtual properties, such as websites, domain names, social media pages, and other types of virtual real estate. And I'll give you an idea of what some of those can be. You've got folks out there that are gamers, and they create backgrounds for these games to be played in.
Oh, okay.
So that there's it's a whole virtual landscape.
Oh,
that's virtual or digital real estate.
like an app.
Like an app, or I'm not savvy enough with all the computer terms to tell you, but it's digital information that can be used on the internet and bought and sold as a commodity. So those are some of those types of things that are out there. And like I said, some of them include online games and platforms such as, I'm going to read a couple of them because I'm learning about this myself. Second Life, Decentraland, and the Sandbox. And I've been told that on some of those that they just gamers can incorporate those landscapes automatically into their program, and they don't have to write the code for some of it.
Oh, okay.
So that becomes real estate, digital real estate.
Digital real estate. Okay.
Income from digital real estate can come in several different ways as well. Obviously, we talked about the buying and the selling of domain names. I own my own domain name for my own website, scottbartlow.com. I also own a couple of others that, in the event that I decide I want to do linked pages to mine, I already own those. Okay. But I could just, one or two of them are popular enough. I've already had people offer me money to buy those domain names.
Domain name, I see.
So that becomes another source of it. Just imagine if you were the guy that came up with Google.com or some of those other
or something
names.
like that.
Income can come from several different sources, such as advertising, affiliate marketing, and selling products and services. So what type advertising? If you think about Google, who we just spoke about, what do you see on Google all the time?
Yeah.
You see ads.
Yeah, ads, a lot of ads.
And if you look at their search engine, those folks that are at the top of the search engine, they're paying to be there.
To be there.
And I know I can kind of explain that portion because as a realtor, I'll get calls from Google sales representatives. And they'll ask, hey, do you want to be in this zip code or in this area?
Or like noticeable to everyone when they pop up the
and so there's a number of different business models that they have where they can generate X number every time that my name gets clicked on, I get a little bit of a charge.
Okay.
And so you're, on the one hand, you're trying to boost your footprint on the internet for search engine optimization, but on the flip side, there's ways where you can pay for it so that you move up higher to the top. So somebody is making money off of that pay per click.
Oh, wow.
So
that's going to be many click then.
Well, and then sometimes I know that those clicks will start adding up fast, and in some instances, to limit how much money you're going to owe, they often will say something or have a contract where they go, okay, we get 2,000 clicks a month.
Oh, okay.
Which sounds like a pretty good amount. So, there's different ways that can be done.
Sometimes like accident click through, like you pop up and you go so fast and then you click on something.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So, I know from talking with some of the agents that when they get clicked on, sometimes it is a waste of time. And they just have a finite number of accesses on that website, and then it moves to a different agent. But every single one of those agents is paying. And so whoever owns that particular domain, they're making money off of their digital real estate. Now, the same thing could be said about some of the different websites out there. I know that I've been an off-roader for a number of years, you know,
Yeah.
where we're taking vehicles, going out into the desert, doing
Right.
trail riding. If you look at some of those off-roading websites, many times you will see products and services for sale. And you click on that product or service. For example, there might be digital maps or GPS apps. You click on one of those and it takes you off that off-roading website to an entirely different website.
Wow.
Where it's a business that's selling apps.
Oh, okay.
So that off-roading website, which has stories or maps about, you know, taking trips and going back and seeing some historical
all the news and all that, right?
Exactly right. But those other apps or those other little windows are forms of advertising that take you to a vendor's website. So that becomes another way where you can do that. Etsy, if anybody has ever bought off of Etsy, you know that they have a lot of different vendors,
products,
all kinds of different products, and those are folks who are putting their products on there for sale. So that becomes another way that you can do it. And of course, you know, even our favorite that's always out in the neighborhoods is Amazon.
Oh yes.
I don't know that any neighborhood that doesn't have an Amazon truck showing up in it. But you know, every time we go to one of the Amazon pages, it's not necessarily an item that we're buying that is in an Amazon warehouse. Sometimes you have to look at it and it may
drop ship or something.
It may be drop shipped from another vendor. And so what they're doing is they're selling their product on Amazon. And Amazon
like assign them and they mail it out.
Exactly. Amazon's providing the delivery service, but it's an entirely different vendor who's providing the actual sales service. So you never know. But if you really start paying attention when you get on some of these different websites, you can start seeing that every one of those little separate things on there is an opportunity where somebody is making money.
Wow.
It could, like I said, going back to that off-roading website, the host of the off-roading website, you can bet he's charging some type of a rental or fee per month for this company
like a store
that sells the GPS apps. So that becomes another way of doing it. The value of digital properties really depends on its popularity. And, you know, just like we were talking about search engine optimization on Google, the more clicks, the more visitors you get, you know, even on your Facebook page, the more people that you have there, the more value that has.
Yes, for that page. And
so
then that page can easily get advertising, right?
You can get advertising, and it can be sold as a commodity. You could sell that to someone else one day. So, I mean, believe me, you wouldn't go to my Facebook page because I don't think I have one or two people that are on it. But I'm sure that with yours, there's lots and lots of people out there. So, you know, that becomes another source of where you have potential that you can make income. Now, as we got into it, a lot of people go, well, is this really legitimate? Well, of course it is. Because if you're going through websites and getting domain names, you know, there's some companies out there where you can buy the domain names. And in many cases, some of the domains are getting full. You know, the .com has dropped, has really gotten pretty full. Now you see a lot of the city governments, they do .gov. So, I mean, they're looking for ways so that they can differentiate
or something like that.
Yes. And .org is typically one where you'll have a lot of nonprofits are in there. But the .com obviously is for commerce. I know that the National Association of Realtors, they have a whole block of domain names that end with realtors.
I see.
.realtor. So, you know, trying to differentiate that for different businesses. But, you know, anything that's on the internet always has its risks. There's always an opportunity for hacking, for somebody getting into a website. And it really, and I'll give you a really quick example. On my website, I've got a page where it says that if you want information, go ahead and you fill out the
form.
template. And a week doesn't go by that I'm not getting some type of template that's filled out and it's got Cyrillic, which is Russian, or some other unusual
activity
type of printing on there that I don't recognize.
Oh,
So there's
so they get on your page.
they get on my page and they put in requests.
Wow.
And I know from having talked to a number of different computer security people that in a lot of the Eastern European countries, there's a lot of folks out there who are they're hackers. They're running their search, and they're looking for weaknesses to get into all kinds of different websites. If you think about it, it isn't, but every week we have some company, I know Home Depot, Lowe's, other companies who have been hacked. And so some of that information has been obtained by other sources who shouldn't have that access to
Just
it.
like remind me, like this is important. Like sometimes when you on the website on that store try to buy something, and then you see something pop up and say there's a better deal or something, and then you go through there, and then you thought that's a real legit store, you pay for it, and lucky that if the credit card that have the protection, then they won't charge it. But if not, then the next day you will see that page disappear. So they just there to collect the money.
That's correct. Yeah. So you got to be very careful. You know, the other thing too is if you're on the internet a lot, make sure that you're using all the security software that you can. Use it properly. Yes. I know from my standpoint, I'm going to give a shout out to a company, but I use and I have used a company for about 10 years. It's called My Computer Works. It's based out of Scottsdale. And they can work on my computer remotely. One of the reasons I like using them is early on when they started their business, they were very familiar with the forms and the different websites that realtors use. And, you know, because
there's something issue, then they can jump on.
They're more familiar with
to help on the computer.
Exactly. But one of the things that I really appreciate with them is they have a bundle or a suite of different software protections that they put on, so that, you know, they catch malware, they catch Trojans, all those different things that'll come in and give you false things. Just like what you were mentioning about, you know, you see a better deal and you click on it. Their software will pop up and it'll have like a firewall warning on it. So that saved me a number of different times. But you know, the key thing that you should always come away with when you're dealing online with those types of things is that you need to protect yourself. You need to be aware, and if you're dealing with domains and those types of things, you need to understand how it all works. And just like we've said repeatedly, nobody cares about your money as much as you do. You need to learn as much as you can about what you're dealing with. Advertising is one of those types of things where a lot of people are able to do it. I know that I'm a member of the Chamber of Commerce, and if you go to the Chamber of Commerce at different times, there's advertising banners that are attached for big events. Typically, they're not. They have links to all the members of the chamber, so all the different businesses are on there. But they also have banners, like if there's big community events coming up where they're a sponsor, then those banners will be active, and so that's a form of advertising. But you can also have, just like I said before,
like a banner. What you say?
A banner. Yep, where it comes across. You can do it through affiliate marketing, where you actually are promoting somebody else's goods or services. You know, how many times do you see where you're buying something on a website and it's not really the website where it's being purchased from, but you get that company that does the referral, basically the digital referral, they get paid for a portion of that sale, almost like a commission.
Oh, okay.
So that becomes another way where they can get paid. And then, of course, you know, you can do things like Amazon, Shopify, Etsy. We've talked about them. But perhaps one of the biggest things, and I certainly don't do it, but I know from talking to some of the younger folks that I've worked with, there's a whole nother realm of people on the internet that are playing games.
Oh.
The online game playing thing where just like what we were talking about, where somebody inputs a virtual landscape into their game.
Yeah.
And then you can have the characters in there. Well, that all can become part of a package, and it's a revenue source. I don't completely understand all of it.
Like they make it like a real world, like a store, a place to buy things, and just like a person
you can
that's
do that,
in there.
and then sometimes with the we're getting a little water here.
Water throw, sorry.
But with some of the virtual games and everything, they can build the storyline in there. And sometimes they're playing on this landscape, and they keep adding to the story, and they're bringing new characters in. And other times, they're building something. So you may start off and you're for simple terms, you're building a castle, and you start off with the ground and the moat, and you keep adding to it.
It's like there's a game that what they call like poly something.
Oh, there. I think as many people as they've got out there doing it, there's opportunities for all kinds of things.
They write the software they sell on, they call them. They mean it's like a digital.
They write the code, or
coding.
portions of the code, and take somebody else's, like I said, some of the software for the,
or like like the office, like accounting software or whatever, right? Like
exactly.
Yeah, hospital they have their own, and law office and doctor office they have the different.
Another way where you can create value for a website is doing a blog. There's a lot of these people out here who, if you get let's say that you're interested in cooking, or just like I said, you're interested in real estate. If you get on YouTube, there's all kinds of people that are on YouTube.
That's true.
And they're always telling you what? Click down below and subscribe.
Or even like they show any trick for the household work, like repair and stuff like that.
And just about any subject that you can think of, you can find somebody on YouTube or one of these other sites who are doing it. Another place where you can find information and where people build value and content is doing blogs, where they're just writing a short little story or just a short little anecdote about something, but making comments about it where other people can come in, read it. They can leave some comments. Those have value.
Wow.
So there's obviously a number of different ways where you can do that. There is a good amount of potential for long-term growth. So if you think about, we'll take eBay. eBay, it seems like eBay has been around forever.
A long time, yes.
And essentially, I remember when I first started in real estate, and so this is back in the early 2000s. Here in the Mesa, Phoenix area, every Sunday we would get a newspaper that was about that thick.
Wow.
And 2 inches of it was advertising. There were homes, there were cars for sale, you name it. That's how we advertised back then. We did all of that advertising via print. And now, in most cases, the newspapers have very small deliveries because most people are not taking print. But you can where do you go for your news? You can go online.
Online, yes.
And so they charge you a fee to get on there.
Yeah.
And then as far as sales are concerned, where does the average person sell things? eBay, Craigslist.
Amazon. Yeah, Craigslist.
They can do offer up.
Offer up to, yes.
So there's all these other different sources that have taken over something that we used to think about strictly as a newspaper function. And each one of those offers its own opportunities.
Wow.
Let's see.
But like do investment like that, their budget is a lot. Like cost more money for
As time goes on,
investment.
they can keep adding
Yeah.
value to it, and then
Uh-huh.
they can sell it, they can
Uh-huh.
advertise it,
Uh-huh.
so they have that flow of income coming in.
Mm.
Another source of doing it is selling ebooks,
Mhm.
online courses,
Ah,
music,
or renew some license,
or
things like
renewing
that.
license,
Ah,
software. So
software.
all of those different
Mm,
things can be
mm,
done digitally,
mm,
and through websites and other types of
mm,
services,
mhm.
you create a cash flow that comes in.
Like if you see the YouTube link sometime pop up, people advertising like, oh, like if you tie up to work outside, then you can just stay home and you can work at home and you can make tons of money.
Mm-hmm.
So to do that, please contact me and things like that. So
Exactly
maybe
right.
like pay some money is
In some
get things
cases,
started.
that's
Yeah.
exactly what they're
Oh,
doing.
okay.
And of course at the same time too, remember, we were just talking about YouTube. What do you get before say I have my
Uh,
video on there? Before my video plays,
it's
what
always
happens?
have ad.
There's an ad.
Yeah, an ad.
Always an ad.
Uh-huh.
So,
Some
those are
ad cannot be skipped.
that's
You gotta play
exactly right.
all.
Some of them
Yeah,
you got to play through.
yeah,
So those all become
uh-huh.
different places where you can do it.
Yeah.
We used to go to the library, or we used to go and buy hardcover books. There's a lot of books now that I just download them off the internet, and I save them so I can read them on my computer anytime I want to.
Right.
Certainly saves a lot of space, and that becomes another way of doing it. So the big thing is all of those different sites that we talked about are different ways of doing it. You can treat that like real estate, where you can buy, you can sell, you can lease it out to someone else, and it's a commodity that you can all have out there.
Right.
Another one I want to talk about real quick was it's called flipping domain names. And
Oh.
because I know
Mhm.
we spoke about it briefly just a couple of minutes ago, but
Uh-huh.
I have another
Yeah.
another person in my office
Mhm.
that buys domain names,
Oh.
and all of them are real estate related.
Oh.
So
I see.
have names like Selling Mesa Homes,
Ah.
mesahomesforsale.com, and
Oh.
and those are all pretty desirable domain names for a
Right.
realtor.
Mm.
I mean, you figure here in Maricopa
So
County,
everybody need it. Yeah.
yeah,
Sometimes like the business, we need to create the name, the domain.
exactly right. So something catchy, something that
Yeah.
you
Something
can
like
get out there.
easy to get. And
So those have value,
uh,
and the better the name is, the higher the value is, and that
and
like
he can just come up with a name himself and buy it. Or?
yeah.
Oh.
I've got several, and on one of mine I was offered $400 for it last year.
Oh.
I didn't sell it,
Uh-huh.
but
Wow. Huh.
it
Really?
cost me $8 to register it.
Yeah, right.
But
But somebody willing to pay for $400 to get the
that.
domain.
Yep. And I've seen them. I've seen other names for sale,
Uh-huh.
in the thousands of dollars.
Oh, wow.
So there's
That's pretty
a way
good.
that you can do
Yeah.
that as well,
Yeah, with a low investment.
with a very
Super
low
low.
investment. Another thing that you can do is what they call non-fungible tokens.
Non-fundable?
Non-fungible tokens,
Oh, okay.
NFTs.
Oh.
And basically, what they are is they're digital assets,
Uh-huh.
and they're verified to be unique through what they call blockchain, and it's code and everything.
Uh-huh.
But essentially, it becomes a way where if you're an artist or you're a musician and you want to keep control over your
Access.
your assets
Yeah.
online, it's one way of doing it, because then you can sell it and you can actually kind of cut people off on it. If you think about it, a lot of these artists over the last couple of years, Spotify has come in and become a big streaming service. And so their Spotify is providing a service, and they're allowing all those artists to put their music out there.
In there.
But on occasion, you get artists who don't like somebody else on Spotify, so they go, no, I want to pull my catalog of music.
Oh.
And so
Uh-huh.
you know, that can happen as well. But it becomes
Yes.
a method of handling information and putting value on the information and letting you market and sell or lease that information out to others. So it still allows you control. I was reading that there was, let me read this just section here real quick. In March of 2021, a digital artwork by Beeple, I have no idea who Beeple is, sold for a whopping $69 million at a Christie's auction, making it the most expensive non-fungible token ever sold.
Wow.
So it was a unique thing. It was digital. They could download that picture, print it out, and you know, it'd be just like if we took a photograph and that photograph was copyrighted. Once again, there's another method for distributing digital information. I'm going to use the caveat once again. This type of investing, you really need to know your ins and outs on it. I am by no means an expert. I mean, I'm just learning about it myself as part of our conversation this evening. But you know, we're going to touch on something here in a minute, and actually, it's kind of been in the news, and that's cryptocurrency. You know, Bitcoin has certainly been out there. Bitcoin has seen some fluctuations in values in it. I myself do not fully understand how Bitcoin works, but I do understand that in the cryptocurrency world, that there's been a lot of fraud here in the last, just in the last 6 months. And I'll give you a real quick one.
Who create that government or who? I mean, who sponsor for those
cryptocurrency?
Coin? Yeah.
Well, it becomes the companies that are brokerages that are doing it.
Oh, okay.
And you know, they operate like a central bank, unlike a traditional currency, which is backed by the government. Cryptocurrencies are based on algorithms and cryptography. I am not going to pretend that I'm an expert on explaining all of it. But what I will tell you is that there's clearly some folks out there who have made an awful lot of money off cryptocurrency. They've used cryptocurrency to be able to purchase and sell things. You know, one of the big advantages of cryptocurrency is, you know, unlike here in the United States, we have the dollar.
Right.
But if I go to Europe or if I go to Asia, I'm going to have to convert that dollar into their local currency.
Right.
With Bitcoin, because it is a digital currency, it can convert into those other currencies pretty easily.
Oh, and go direct.
Exactly. And the other thing to consider as well is, you know, when we're talking digital, you know, here in the United States, let's suppose that you came from a different country and you bought real estate here in the United States.
Right.
And after 5 years, you sold it. Here in the United States, we have a tax law. It's FIRPTA, Federal Investment Real Estate Reporting.
Yeah.
And it's basically a method where the IRS puts a hold on some of your funds so that until the tax basis is worked out by accountants, that you don't get all of your funds. So that's here in the United States. I'm sure other countries have the same types of tax basis on them.
Yeah, a lot of question for those. Yeah.
One of the
After they
things
sell.
One of the things about some of these digital currencies is they're not regulated by the government. So they don't.
So they can get it to carry it out.
They can cross borders. You know, just same way in email.
It. Yeah, with email.
Yeah, so they cross the borders digitally.
Wow.
And you know, it allows you a great deal more flexibility. Now, the one thing I'm going to tell you, once again, when we're talking about cryptocurrency, there's some companies out there that seem to be doing a really good job. I think Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin are some of them that seem to be doing pretty well. But there are some shady operators out there. And in the news, Sam Bankman-Fried has been in the news. He embezzled over $8 billion from his crypto clients. He had a brokerage. It was called
Oh boy.
FTX Cryptocurrency
Uh-huh.
Exchange,
Uh-huh.
and he embezzled over $8 billion.
Oh my gosh. How did he do that?
He he set things up and fraudulently pulled that money off. He used it to buy his own properties. He paid
Oh my God.
politicians. He did all kinds of stuff with it.
So then the person didn't know? The customer
No,
didn't know.
no. He was kind of the Bernie Madoff of cryptocurrency. Anyway,
Oh.
he was tried in court recently,
Uh-huh.
and he received 110 years of prison time.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh shoot.
So I mean, you're talking $8 billion worth of people.
Well, he's gonna have to return it back, right? I mean,
Some of
besides
it's
jail
already
time.
yeah, some of it's already spent.
Oh my God.
There was
Let me see the face. Oh wow.
there he is right here.
Oh my.
And then I read an article today about a lady that she was scammed. She was
Oh.
a couple of people approached her. They said that they were tax investigators and
Oh.
that her money was at risk. So they had her put $11,000 into a cryptocurrency exchange center,
Oh.
and she lost it all.
How could she didn't create an account?
They told her that they had an account created for her. She believed they were from the IRS. So
Oh no.
there's always a scam going
Oh
on there.
no. Yeah. Even the IRS, they even mentioned that they never go on oral or do anything. They always have sent mail. They always
send
do that.
mail. They
So
send
mail is something like where with the paper and everything else. Yeah.
Yep.
For that.
While we're talking about this real quick, 2 days ago, I had somebody who called me up, and they identified themselves as being at Chase Bank fraud prevention.
Mm.
They said somebody was trying to open up a credit card using my information, and they gave me the last 4 digits of my Social Security, which was correct.
Oh.
I was a little
Okay.
surprised at that, but
Wow.
they gave me that. And then they said they were going to transfer me to the Consumer Protection Bureau.
Uh-huh.
Well, it's called the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, number one.
Uh-huh.
But number two, I know better than to let somebody call me,
Call you and transfer.
and then transfer me, and then want more information. So I said,
Uh-huh.
no worries, I will take care of it. I will call them myself.
Yes.
So as soon as I got off the phone with them, I actually have a company
Uh-huh.
that monitors my credit
Yeah.
and sees who's looking at my credit reports, and I called them.
Okay.
And they verified that no one was able to get into my accounts or anything, but that was just a phishing expedition.
But you can call directly to the bank too, right?
You could,
To the Chase?
yeah, but I'm
You
not.
guys have that
I'm
department?
not a Chase customer.
Oh, I see. Oh, okay, then that's
So, but like I said, what I did is I called the company that does my credit monitoring,
yes.
so that in the event that somebody tried to pull
Yeah.
something, they could do that.
Yeah.
I can't emphasize enough, even when it comes
A lot
to
of fraud
real
out
estate,
there.
there is
Yes.
fraud out there. One of
Yeah.
the areas where they're committing fraud, of course, I kind of got off on a tangent about fraud, but let me throw a couple of more things out there for you. Number one is when you're in the middle of a transaction, make sure that you verify wiring instructions telephonically. In other words, if you're going to have money wired into your account,
Uh-huh.
or you're going to wire money into a title company's account,
Uh-huh.
make sure that you call the person on the other end and you verify that what you got in writing is what is really supposed to be happening. Because
Okay.
I don't go but a few days. I'm always getting stuff because of my name is in the business.
Uh-huh.
I have a website out there, but I've received emails saying, "Hey, here's documents for your closing," and I'm looking at them going, "I don't have a closing with that title company."
No. Yes. Yes. They
So
always have all kind of scam like that.
where
Yeah.
it looks like it's just natural,
Yeah.
but it's not. So never just take anything off the internet verbatim. If you're expecting, if you're working with a title officer and says, hey, we're going to send you wiring instructions,
Uh-huh.
then you wait for those wiring instructions. Usually they come in an encrypted form, but before you send any money on that, call that escrow officer up and say, I've got these wiring instructions, are these correct? And you read the digits back to them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Better
That's true.
safe than sorry.
Yeah. Otherwise, you transfer money to somewhere else that not a credit to your account. Yeah. But that's really scary for that money that was go floating on the crypto things, and
Yes.
people can get the money out.
Now there's legitimate places out there,
Yeah.
but once again, and I know there's some folks out there that have made a lot of money off cryptocurrency. It's a case of where they have a good understanding on how it works. They know what the safeguards are, and as we have said before, nobody cares about your money as much as you do.
As you do.
You need to do the things you can.
We need to do
protect
the homework.
yourself.
Yeah, we're not gonna just listen to. Maybe they use us as an experiment.
That is
Go
correct.
ahead and use it first.
Just want to run through a couple of the benefits of doing digital real estate. Number one, we've talked about efficiency, cost savings, convenience, because we're not handling anything physical. We're handling something that's
Like
in the cloud.
in the cloud, yes.
So you've got lower transaction costs, greater flexibility,
Management.
easier to manage. Exactly right. And it's easier to access the global market. As we said before, if you're trying to bring dollars in or you're trying to bring currency from another country into the United States, you have to go through certain steps. The IRS and the federal government is going to really check it out, and then it's going to have to be converted into our funds. Whereas if you're doing transactions digitally, you don't have any of that going on. There's nothing that needs to be checked. And as Lynn V said, you can manage your accounts. You can set up automatic processes so that buy, sell, pick up things, and have it set up with computer algorithms, so that it makes it easier for you. All of which is more and more technical, more and more digital, and there is value to it, but you really need to learn how it works. And then kind of on the other side of the coin, we just talked about how all of those things are positives. There's a lot of folks in different countries and here in the United States that because of access, they don't have as good a computer or internet line, so they cannot participate as well. There's not the same type of equity. They just don't have the money to get involved in it. And then, of course, the biggest thing in all of this is because we're always used to having something tangible. I joke around at times with some of my friends that are heavily invested in the stock market. And I said, well, if you invest in General Electric or something like that, what do you have to show for it? And they go, well, look at my account and it says I've got so many shares. But really, what do you have to show for it?
I mean, the tangible.
Whereas the beauty of real estate for folks is
you can see things.
If you buy a house or a piece of land, you can go see that piece of land.
You can stay on it, you do anything with it.
Exactly. So if General Electric has a problem with some of their products and they lose a bunch of money through litigation, it loses value. But if you have a piece of land, that land, how does that land diminish?
Wow.
It's there all the time. So that's one of the other aspects of it. But like I said, when it comes to anything else like that, it always comes down to learn as much as you can, find experts, find people that know the business that can mentor you, find legitimate people, check them out. Like we were talking about checking out a broker if you're in a buyer broker situation. If you're going to work with somebody in a broker situation here, check them out. There should be a paper trail on them. There should be ways of finding out about their expertise.
That's true.
And their honesty.
Right.
And so those are the types of things that you want to do to be able to protect yourself.
Right. That's true. Yeah.
So,
Scary.
so I was by no means was
So
tonight one of those where we were going to talk about make you an expert on digital
digital uh,
real estate,
real
but I
estate.
just wanted to kind of bring a bunch of things to your attention
Right.
and
Uh-huh.
kind of make sure that that at least you know that there was a
There are
different
many
way
things.
of
Yeah.
investing.
Right. There's many way because like some they not good with the real estate. You know, they can always have some option out there.
Yes.
So and then but the scary thing like I was thinking for safe like if you invest on something that you gotta know the roof of it like understand let's say if some error or anything like you just send the money to somewhere you gotta know okay where to get it back,
How do
right?
you get it back?
Yeah, I mean like who there's nobody control over that. That's
Yeah.
a virtual. That's
Yeah.
yeah. So who is it that you're gonna claim? You know, for I
That's
mean, yeah.
that's all part of
So
that discovery and learning how
so
it all
and then
works.
yeah, they already put out the risk. They already say yeah, you can make it, but like you gotta know understand throughout that there's a chance of risk and
Exactly right.
you will lose it. Yeah, yeah. And any investment have the cost of it, but you're right. Like if you buy a house, then at least you see the house right there.
It's
Yeah,
tangible.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, if people get older, sometimes like they don't want to own something, so they have to look over. You know, like
Well,
what you think?
one while we're talking
Yeah.
about investing, just because you don't want to take care of something day to day
Uh-huh.
doesn't mean that you can't invest in real estate.
Mm.
There's what we call REITs, real estate investment trusts.
Okay.
And these are basically companies that are set up
Uh-huh.
and they buy real estate.
Uh-huh.
They're in the business of real estate.
And they will manage.
They will
Uh-huh.
manage the money and
Mm.
it's almost like buying a stock,
Uh-huh.
but they're in the business of real estate. So
Mm.
that becomes a way where you can
Mhm.
participate as well.
Mm. Yeah, that's true. So many out there, they can think of, yeah, what is it that they really want? You know, if they are really good in the computer, they know something about the other way, then safe for them, then they can do that way. Right?
I know
Yeah,
that
yeah,
there's a lot of people out there that
uh,
are very computer savvy.
yeah.
And what I talked about, I'm
Uh,
probably very clumsy in describing it
but
this evening.
still, even they know the computer, but like there's something like in the world of the investment, you know, there's something in there that you gotta understand, and
Yes,
because if one error you got your money just like that.
that's exactly right.
Yeah, yeah. So it's nothing better than the we think well the majority is like we gotta have portfolio, you know, like divide, not everything into one thing.
Hmm.
When we think, yeah. So a little bit here, a little bit there. Try it out.
That's an excellent
Uh,
piece of advice is to spread your risk,
yeah,
spread your assets.
yeah, right. Yeah, I think so. So you have anything else that beside oh because you have to bring out all this the person that doing something like this, so we got to be alert and more careful on the money that we put out and all that. A lot of fraud in the computer when you put your credit card in there and everything. So they got your data and they might do something, right?
Yes.
So those are very important. Oh, I mentioned last time. Did you receive? You own an Apple or what? You own an iPhone?
No, I have a
Oh,
Android.
okay. There's no worry because I got the check from the Apple where they lose the lawsuit
Hmm.
of the iPhone for 5 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I mean, everybody like sue, find something to sue. And
Everybody
get
wants to
some money.
sue someone.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Okay. So I think like we covered. What about the digital? You say real estate digital? Is that what you name it?
They
Yeah.
call it digital
Yeah.
real estate.
Digital real estate. So many out there, we can invest and we can look at it and see if we wanna give a try, or we could just stick with the old model of doing like regular real estate. Right?
Exactly
So,
right.
so there's always that, and I think like you a child, you specialize in real estate, and there's somebody also specialized for those kind of
Absolutely,
investment,
absolutely.
right?
You know,
Yeah.
and it's like what I was saying. If
Uh,
you're going to invest in real estate,
yeah.
you want to learn as much as you can. You want to have a budget.
Yeah.
You want to look and work with reputable people and reputable businesses. So I'm sure on the digital real estate side, you know, if you're going to buy and flip domains, there's a place for that. I know GoDaddy is, they're cheap,
Yeah.
they're local, they
Right.
do those types of things,
Yeah.
but there's other places that do them. If you're into doing advertising or selling products, you've got models out there like I said, where you've got Amazon and Etsy, those types of things.
Yeah.
So there's people out there who are doing things legitimately.
Right.
They're creating firewalls, but you need to have computer experts,
Right.
software experts that can
Right.
provide the security to prevent you from being taken advantage of.
Right. So all of the investment have their own risk. It's actually, right?
That's a perfect way of putting it. Every investment has its own risk.
So we just know our budget. We know our access, our timing, and the return and all that.
And
based on
learn
that,
as much as you
yeah.
can so that
And-
you can reduce your risk.
Right. And Scott's really good because the most important is like open-minded too. Like you learning every day. You know, like everything news that come in the way is not everything the same always. So thank you so much, Scott, for bringing out all those information. I know there's a lot, and it's not in your criteria, but you really take time and take all this.
Well,
It's
I can
not
tell you
easy.
what, when
Yeah.
that topic came up,
Uh-huh.
when you suggested it, I kind of did some research, and I was amazed
Uh-huh.
at how,
Uh-huh.
because now I start thinking about folks that I work with, they're already doing some of these things.
Yes, yes.
So
Yeah.
there's probably folks in the audience who are already doing some of those things.
Yes.
And like I said, I probably put some of it a little bit inarticulately out there,
Right.
but it is one of those things that get you thinking out of the same old box of
Right.
doing it the same way every single time.
Right. So, but it doesn't matter what you do. Main thing is you got to have a house, a nice house to save first, and then you make money, right? So that's the old saying. So don't forget Scott Barlows from SF Fuller Real Estate. The information on the screen right now. So you can ask him any question, email him, or any form, anything that he been talk about, and any request too. You can request to know something, and he really have knowledgeable time and look for those and help us with more information and understanding about those subjects. Thank you so much. And we're going to see our audience next week.
Yep,
Same,
we
same
sure will.
time. Yeah. So hopefully today will be more information for you guys to choose on. And hope you have a great week. Thank you for watching us. Scott Barlows and Linh.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.